When we talk mulching, normally in a garden situation, you're looking for a mulch to last a long time, keep the water in and stop the weeds. When you're in a veggie growing situation, it's similar but different. So whereas you would use, mulches that would last 3 to 4 years in a normal garden, the most common mulch used in a veggie growing situation will be sugarcane. There's lucerne and other things, but by far and away the most common is sugarcane. This is how it looks when you get it out of the bale. So the point of this is similar to any other gardening. Weed suppression and moisture retention. But equally, because you're turning over your veggie crop fairly regularly, you're turning the soil, doing other things, you don't actually want a woody mulch that you've got to dig into the soil. You're looking for something that will actually break down. So you're only going to get probably 4 months, 3 or 4 months maybe out of your sugarcane. So if you look at the beds behind me here, the one directly here with the snow peas, that mulch has been down about 2 months. So it was only a thin layer, so it was really just to get a bit of water holding when the snow peas were first coming up. So these aren't mulches that you put on 4 or 5 inches, sorry, maybe 10, 15 centimetres thick. They're really mulches that are a relatively light layer to hold water and suppress the weeds for a relatively short-term crop. So your lettuces might be 6, 7 weeks, something like that. So lots of these, obviously all veggies are annual, so they're a pretty quick turnover thing. Pull the crop out once it's finished. You then dig the soil, add compost or whatever you might need to at that point, and then you remulch once you've planted. So the idea with the sugarcane is put it down in a relatively thin layer. The one thing you've got to be sort of a bit careful of, it can be wind blown, so you can end up with a bit of sugarcane everywhere. But it works quite well when you first put it down, give it a really good water in. That tends to mat the cane together. So this stuff just behind me, we're in a reasonably exposed site here, so it can be windy. That's actually sat there pretty well. But of course, when they put it down, they really wet it properly, gave it a good hose, and that sort of stuck it all together. But keep in mind, this isn't a long-term product, but it's not designed to be in this application. So sugarcane is actually a really good mulch for what you're looking for here. You've still got to add compost if you need, you've still got to add fertiliser and other things to get the crop growing. But if you want to hold the water, reduce the weeds, sugarcane's a good way to go.